Hello there guys, and welcome back to our car modeling tutorial. In this episode, what I think we'll do is we are going to run around the rear diffuser area down here. Just in between videos, I've just brought in some wheels here just so that I can kind of see where the arches and proportions of things are looking. And I also added an extra line at the floor here because what was happening is it was protruding through at this point when we made the underside. So I've just added a line that goes down here and then goes down here, and then I've just pulled those in. They're roughly level with the actual fender flares that we've got here, and I've just pulled those in so that it's not poking out of the side there. So last episode we also worked along the rear flare here and the bumper. So what we'll do is I think we'll have a crack at the rear diffuser here. I'm not going to start here. I don't think we'll start at the actual arch section. I think I'm going to start at the actual diffuser. So if I go into my rear view here, we've got a little bit more detail when it comes to this diffuser. If I bring on my reference image here, let's give this a little bit of a zoom in, we can see that it's kind of stepped out and around the exhaust tips here. It goes in and it comes back out. It's got a little bit of ridge and so on. What we can see is under here it kind of runs out and then up and around and then through this middle section here, and then we can extrude off the side to actually come and bring it around this area here. So I'm going to make this off a fresh piece but then attempt to kind of match up the geometry so it's looking good when it comes to the actual diffuser itself. So let's grab a new plane. So I'm going to go into my main view here. I'm going to create a new plane. I'm going to bring it over here. And oh, that's a bit weird. Let's go for 1 and 1 on the subdivisions there. So starting afresh with this. I'm also going to rotate this around this way. Just something like that for now should be fine. Obviously we're going to need our rear orthographic view here. So what I think we'll do is I think we'll start over here. Let's completely hide those wheels for now. Let's bring this here. Now this blueprint is absolute trash in this area, so we'll have to do the best we can with our references. So let's bring this in something like that. And again, we want to keep this as minimal mesh as possible, but let's bring this roughly here to the right kind of area, something like that. And then in our side view here, what we're going to do is we're going to try and line that up with that kind of front section there. And I just want to make sure that I'm sitting nice and flat for that. Let's grab the edge here. We don't want to select that extra one, so let's just grab this edge. We're going to extrude this along, hit Control E. Let's bring that this way. And then they're just these vertices here, so they're going nicely around the corner for us. And then let's go again with our edge and let's take this down. Something like that. I'm going to flatten that off as well. Obviously, we want this to come back here. We also want to maintain some straight, so I'm just going to straighten that off. And I'm just going to bring that roughly into that same kind of spot. Maybe it's a little bit further forward, so let's actually grab these here. Do something like that. Because it looks like potentially there's a little bit of curvature to this. So let's do maybe something like that there. Now we have this line that goes here. Let me just check some of my other pictures. So we have the two kind of separate lines that look like they kind of taper off. So what we'll do here is let's grab our edges. I'm going to take all of these outside edges here. I'm going to hit Control E, and then on the world I'm going to bring them in here. just a little bit, and then I'm going to hit Control E again, and then I'm going to tip to go even further on that world option there. Okay, and I think now with this we're going to want to add a line. So let's go for our review here. We're going to want to add this line in because it looks like this starts to taper underneath a lot more. So I'm going to Mesh Tools, insert edge loop. Let's drop one in about maybe here. And I'm going to drop two. I'm going to try and keep that roughly the same shape there, the same width even as this. And let's hit Control E and let's bring this along here. Now what I'm going to do is let's straighten this off. I'm going to hold X to snap that into the center. And I think what we'll do is let's pull that out, maybe somewhere about there. Okay. So protruding out just a little bit there. And let's think, when it comes to our lower section here, would help if you had better blueprints, but so we can see here that this is the kind of line that we're looking to make there. Just trying to see if this actually runs all the way under. I think it does. Yeah, I think it does. So let's actually undo that. So I'm just going to hit Control Z, we'll dial that back. And let's actually take both of these and bring them along here. And we'll just do the exact same. I'm going to straighten them off, hold X, and snap them to the center. And again, just bring that out roughly where it were before. Something like that looks okay. And then in our perspective view, let's actually delete these interfaces here. And I'm going to hit Control E and let's bring that in there. Actually, let's just go here. So I'm just going to bring this in just to match that line that we added there. And then that will allow us to select those, and we can hit Edit Mesh and we can merge those together. Now, it doesn't look like it's that severe of an angle, so let's grab these. And I'm going to move those up. Something like that. So that we can see that quite nicely as it's going around there. And then it looks like with this one, we'll want to bring this maybe in a little bit, something like that. Okay. Let's grab the target weld tool. I'm going to weld these vertices over here. I think that's probably what we're going to want to do with that. With those welded, maybe let's actually take that a bit more in like so. Something like that. And then what I'll do with this edge is I'm going to grab it, select the edge, hit Control E, and again let's just grab these two here. I'm going to hit Edit Mesh and merge. Okay, so we've got kind of the start to that. Now again, this is quite curved in the actual model, but we're just running a base mesh just now, so we're not too fussed about that. I can't help but feel that this is actually a bit lower on the real car, so let's check again. See, we're looking like we're in an okay spot on the blueprint, but I'm looking and it does look like it's about maybe halfway down. So let's go ahead and just pull this down, something like that. I'm just going to try and pull that back so it's not looking too weird in comparison to the actual portion there. what we could do is we could grab these as well. We could, maybe not, we'll just leave that. I think that's looking okay. And then it looks like we have the edges here and here. It looks like these extrude up maybe about there. Can't see it at all on the blueprints, which is awkward. But we do want to keep maintaining that kind of line there that we have. So something like that, and then we can see that that then cuts up here. Looks like maybe this portion is sticking out just a bit too much. That's okay. So let's grab this again, and let's now think about maybe going down here. It does look like that wants to go underneath, which is fine. Let's take both of these again. Let's hit Control E and bring those up. I'm going to grab an edge loop to drop in here, just to match this line that we have there. And we'll want to try and help that curve a little bit. Like that. I'm going to grab these now, I'm going to hold V, and I'm going to snap them to the corresponding vertices of the actual bumper. And we can see that's not looking too bad in terms of lining up there. We want to think about now bringing the kind of side portion together. So let's go for, let's work off here now. We can see that we're stopping a little bit high. We can also see that the flare in the reference images that I've got does continue. So I'm going to grab all these here, I'm going to hit Control E, and let's bring these down something like that, so we can see that's lining up nicely at the side. And then we're going to want to take these in on our rear view here as well. We can see they're lining up quite nicely. So let's maybe bring those in, something like that. And we'll maybe help that curve a little bit. We'll take all of these kind of back in this direction. Something like that. So we can see now that's forming quite nicely in our main view here. So now what we're going to want to do is we are going to want to kind of line all of this up with the geometry that we've just created. So let's just grab the vertices here, and I'm just going to bring that out a little bit. Now the easiest thing to do here would be to run 3 lines down here, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to run 1. So I'm going to grab my multi-cut, I'm just going to hold Control to do the whole line. I'm going to stick in a line here. I'm just going to pull that so it's helping that curvature in both directions. Let's just check we're looking good on the side. Okay. So this is going to allow us now to match up with this portion here, but we do have to. So let's actually grab the multi-cut again. I'm just going to delete that line. In doing so, make sure you hold down Control and delete. As you can see, I've left my vertices here. So what we're going to want to do, select that edge, hold down Control, hit delete, and what that will do is that will take the vertices with it. And what I'm going to do for now is let's grab 1 line up here and 1 line down here. And let's bring that over here, there, and there. So I'm just holding V to snap those there. Okay, so that's looking good. Let's think about the mesh. Let's maybe take this one here. Let's see how this is forming. Maybe we're going to soften that off just a little bit, and we'll do the same here. because we want all of these lines to run right, nice and smooth down here. Do the same just there. So that's joining up quite nice. So again, that's good for now. We're going to be coming back in here to do all of our edits and things to that when the time comes, but we'll leave that just there. I think the next thing that we really need to think about is getting this whole middle section nailed. Think about where the vertices are going to go. In between episodes I did add this line here. So we can see that our front portion doesn't quite line up how we would want it to, and we also need to consider where these lines are going to flow as they go through. So let's maybe think about that just now, and let's start to kind of straighten a lot of these lines off. So this one, for example, we'll maybe bring down in this direction, and we want to make sure that all the curvature out here is looking good. This one here, we could, I think that one's quite good actually, we could probably leave that, but let's take this one a bit higher. And again, anything we change, we want to make sure we're still good in our other views as well. It's looking okay. This line is the one we're going to want to change the most, because we are actually wanting this line to be up here. So let's grab this one too. Let's move this whole thing up to about there, which means this line can now start to become part of this one. Okay. And then this one here, let's actually, even though it's looking good, let's actually bring that a bit higher, just to make sure it's helping the curve that we've lost in that area. If I can start deselecting that, let's bring this up too. We'll go something like that, so we can see now in this view that all of these lines are a lot straighter. But we've still managed to maintain the curve that runs around up here. So what we could do now is we can start thinking about where these are going to match across. It's quite clear where we can match in terms of, I think, almost all of these lines. This one here, it would help if it was aligned more in that area. So we'll do something like that. Let's make sure we haven't ruined that in our top view. And remember, whenever we pull something in one direction, it could be affecting other elements. Check that in a perspective. Maybe something like that. So that's looking okay. Okay, so let's think about bringing these together then. So let's go for edge and edge here, and I'm going to have a go at bridging these. Okay. Before we actually bridge, we actually have an extra line here which we're going to want to facilitate. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to dial these changes back on the arch here. I'll keep these ones, but let's actually create that first. So I'm going to grab all these inner edges. Apologies again for rolling things back, but I've said before that I haven't actually modeled this yet, so I'll try to debug as I go. I'm going to hit Control E. I'm going to pull this up on the blue, something like that. I think that looks okay as is. I'm going to jump into my vertex here and grab my target weld, and we'll weld up there. So that means we can probably, rather than disturbing the actual fender flare to match up, we could maybe just disturb these portions here. Let's see. It probably looks like we will actually still need to move those, but they do line up quite nicely up here. Let's go for it. Let's bring that back down here again. And this over here. We'll just adjust these lines maybe at some point. Let's bring this over too, just to kind of help that out. And again, top view, front view, make sure we're looking good. Perspective view, make sure that we're not looking so severe. Okay, so that's made it a little bit awkward for us now because obviously we have a triangle down here instead. I'm not going to worry about that too much. Let's bring that over here. Let's do something like that. Okay, so that's looking okay. So let's grab then this one and this one. These two edges here. I'm going to go to bridge. I'm going to do the same with these ones here. I'm just going to hit G. And then with what we have left here, let's just make sure those are merged on my one here. It doesn't look like it's going to let me bridge that, so I'm just going to have to extrude. I was going to fill the hole there, but it wasn't letting me do it, so I'm just going to create a little section here, then just target weld those like so. Okay, so we have a bit of a triangle here. It's not the cleanest, but we're not too fussed just now. We could take this around a little bit more, see how we've brought this one over. So we could grab this one and take this, something like that, just so that's flowing along there a little bit nicer. We could also take this one up, just so that that's flowing a little bit nicer too, but again, move these, so let's just double check our other views, make sure we're still looking good. Something like that. Now they are triangled in here, it's not a big deal. When we actually come in and disconnect the bumper, we can add some edits inside there just to make it a bit cleaner. But we're not too bothered. We do need to think about where these lines are going to go now. So let's run a line up here. Just using that multi-cut tool. And that'll allow us then to bridge what we have here. So I'm going to go to edit merge and bridge, and then that'll allow us to do the same here too. So you can see now that that section there is looking nice and tidy as it comes through. Yeah, that's looking good. Let's keep going. Let's grab this one and this one. I'll bridge these ones as well. Okay, so we've got a line that we need to add up here. So let's drop that in, maybe about, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the multi-cut and I'll drop one in a decent spot. Just hit enter, I'm not going to draw the line, and then I can insert the edge loop here a little bit further into the center. Something like that. And then I can just draw that last path in here. I just want to smooth that out a little bit. Just going to also check my top view with that new line, just to see if there's anything we need to do. That's looking okay. I think that's fine. So it's going to allow me to bridge here, and then here. We could probably bridge there too, and then the rest we could maybe have flow in that direction. I may change my mind on that one though. Alright guys, so I think we'll stop that here. We've got the basic kind of diffuser area in the back there. We've started to kind of patch up this central section here in the front. In the next episode we'll continue to work down the side here to get one complete base mesh, and then we'll start to move on from there. Alright guys, so if you enjoyed the video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, check out our other videos, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.